Hi people, it's Archivist here and welcome to the Warlords of Draenor beta. As this is a beta, remember that everything you see here is subject to change. So originally I was going to leave the beta for a bit. There wasn't much to do in the zones currently available and I was getting a bit tired of it. But luckily when I returned from my holiday I logged on and I noticed that you can now make an instantly level 100 character, which means that you can go to some new zones now. They're not all open I don't think, but many of them are. And the first zone that I eagerly went to was Nagrand. Nagrand as a zone is very similar to its Burning Crusade counterparts. It's still, very, I guess you could say, quite open. It's like plains, lots of animals, lots of wildlife. You've got a hell of a lot of ground clutter on the ground. Really nice looking zone, but this time around there's a bit more variation within the landscape. You've got more foresty areas, there's different shades of green. You've also got some major landmarks such as Oshugan. Not great looking I have to say, but it's quite a major lore place. Being on the Horde side, I visited some of the Horde settlements which look quite good, in the way that they've integrated with nature rather than looking like they've ploughed down it. You've also got a very impressive looking place at the Throne of the Elements. So at the Throne of the Elements you've got, as you would expect, the different elementals, and they look very good. In fact, I would say, as you can see here, they get more impressive the more you go to the left. So starting with the Storm one, he looks fairly good, but if I am not mistaken, this is a model from Cataclysm, but decent anyway. And then next to him, you've got the Earth one. He's not actually there, it's just kind of his ancestral spirit. But this model does exist in the game, and I'll see if I can find it later. And then, more impressively, we go to the water one, which is pretty awesome looking. I don't think this exists in the live game right now, and I thought it looked really good, but easily the best, and perhaps the best model in the game so far, in the beta I've seen so far, is the Flame Elemental, and this looks awesome. He's got this one eye, and he looks like a flaming Cyclops of Doom. Really cool looking model. I would have no qualms if they kept using this. They recycled it. It's such an awesome looking model. Another significant place in the Nagrand would be Highmore, which is kind of like, I guess, Diamore. It's one of these giant ogre fortresses. I have to say though, it looks a lot better than Diamore did. It's a instance I believe, but from where you can see, it's a pretty awesome looking structure, and it really gives the zone a lot more character overall. Also now, since I am level 100, I have access to, level 100 talents, and one of them is the Storm Elemental. Specifically here, the Primal Storm Elemental, and it's pretty cool. If you stand close to it, you can move quickly. It's quite an interesting addition. I suppose now the only thing left is to give Shamans the Water Elemental to complete the set. I don't know if they'll do that though, because mages do have Water Elementals. I also thought in this video, while I continued to show you some parts of Nagrand, I wanted to mention some, I guess you could say, quite trivial, quite small additions they could make to the game. Some small improvements that I think would make the game better. And the first one is that I really would like to see some better spell effects for some of the classes. For NPCs, they've got them down well. Some of the bosses have some really cool looking spell effects. But the spell effects or particle effects on the characters, making a special point for the mage here, do look a bit lackluster. When I choose a mage because I want to feel powerful. I want to feel like I'm commanding fire and ice and arcane, and it just doesn't really help that whole fantasy if I'm, when I'm casting the spell, I've got these very small reddish flames coming from my hands. I want it to really be bursting out, really strong flame coming out, or ice, really good looking spell effects. I want to feel like I'm conjuring real power. If you're going to be casting a spell over and over again like Fireball, you want it to have some punch to it, some detail. Of course, the problem with doing this though is that if you have really high quality spell effects or particle effects, it will cause frame rate issues, but to that I say you can just go into the settings and decrease them. So I would honestly go as far as to say what is currently classified as ultra could be put as medium, and we could have a new high and ultra setting. And if you're having frame rate issues regularly, you just decrease it to what it is now. So it would not be a permanent problem for anyone. If it turned out to be an experiment that went wrong, it's not like anyone's actually going to be affected by it. And as for raids, if it's going to cause server stability issues or whatever, you could just have it so that when you enter a raid, your particle effects are automatically decreased. Okay, I think I'm going to wrap this video up now. I haven't been in Nagrand long, so sadly I don't have lots to say about it, but I will report back with more information in the future. If you would like to see more of the Warlords of Draenor beta, you may want to subscribe to my channel Archivist42. As always people, thanks very much for watching and see you next time.